Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to discuss a theme that resonates deeply in our hearts and minds, a theme that speaks to the very fabric of our society. It is a theme that has stirred conversations, ignited debates, and even instilled fear in the hearts of many. God's warning about Donald Trump. Many of us have heard the phrase, "It's not about the man, but about the message." Today, I invite you to explore what that message truly means for us all, and how we can transform its lessons into actionable insights for our lives. The power of awareness. Let us begin with the first key point. The power of awareness. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. When we hear warnings, whether they come from a divine source, our intuition, or our community, our immediate response should be to listen closely. It is easy to dismiss warnings as mere noise or political banter, but what if they are more than that? What if they serve as a crucial invitation to reflect on our values and beliefs? Consider the story of the proverbial canary in the coal mine. Miners would take this small bird with them underground as a warning system. If the canary showed signs of distress, it was time to leave. The bird, small and seemingly insignificant, was in fact vital to their survival. Similarly, the warnings we encounter today, whether about leaders, societal trends, or personal choices, are our canaries. They implore us to evaluate our surroundings and our choices. So I ask you, what warnings have you ignored in your own life? In our pursuit of success, it's easy to overlook the signs of discontent around us. Whether it's in our careers, relationships, or personal aspirations, it's essential to be vigilant. Awareness does not mean living in fear. Rather, it empowers us to make informed decisions. Let's take a moment to reflect. Think about a time when you ignored a warning only to face consequences later. Maybe it was a warning from a friend about a toxic relationship, or an instinct that told you to change your career path. Now imagine if you had acted on that warning. What would have changed? Awareness is not just about seeing what is present. It's also about recognizing what is absent. The support, the happiness, the integrity, the importance of action. As we transition to our second key point, we must discuss the importance of action. Awareness without action is like a ship without a sail. It may float, but it will not reach its destination. We can be aware of the challenges we face, but if we remain stagnant, we risk being swept away by the currents of complacency. When we examine the political landscape and the warnings associated with it, we see that they are not merely about one person or one party. They are about the choices we make as a collective. Each of us holds the power to affect change in our own lives and communities. It begins with small, deliberate actions. Consider the story of Rosa Parks. Her simple act of refusing to give up her seat sparked a movement that changed the course of history. It was an act of defiance rooted in awareness of injustice. Can you imagine if she had chosen silence instead? The civil rights movement may not have gained the momentum it did without her courageous stand. Each of us has the potential to be a catalyst for change, whether through activism, community service, or simply standing up for what we believe in. Ask yourself, what action can you take today that aligns with your values? Perhaps it's speaking up about an issue you care deeply about, volunteering for a cause that resonates with you, or even having a difficult conversation with someone who holds a different perspective. Action can be daunting, but it is in those moments of discomfort that we find our greatest strength. The call for unity. Finally, we arrive at our third key point, the call for unity. In a world filled with division and strife, the message that emerges from God's warning is one of togetherness. We are stronger when we stand united, when we share our voices and our experiences, and when we foster understanding among one another. The challenges we face are not insurmountable. They become so when we allow fear and division to dictate our actions. Think of a time when you witnessed a community come together in the face of adversity. Perhaps it was during a natural disaster where strangers became allies, offering support and solace. Unity breeds resilience. We are all part of the same tapestry, each thread uniquely contributing to the whole. The warnings we discuss are not simply about politics. They speak to the human condition. They remind us to put aside our differences and focus on our shared humanity. As we move forward, I urge you to seek connections. Reach out to those who may think differently from you. Engage in conversations that challenge your views, but also broaden your understanding. In doing this, we create a culture of empathy and respect. The call to action. In conclusion, I leave you with this: awareness, action, and unity are not just concepts. They are imperatives for our growth and success, both individually and collectively. The warnings we receive are not meant to paralyze us with fear, but to empower us to rise up and take control of our destinies. So, as you step out of this space today, I challenge you: be vigilant. Listen to the warnings in your life. Take action on what resonates with you. And most importantly, seek to unite with others in your journey toward a brighter future. Together, we can navigate the complexities of our times and emerge stronger, more resilient, and more united. Let us heed the call, embrace the warnings, and take courageous steps forward. The time to act is now. Thank you. As we delve deeper into this conversation, let me take you back to a pivotal moment in history, a moment that exemplifies the themes we've discussed: awareness, action, and unity. Picture the summer of 1963 in Washington, D.C. A crowd of over 250,000 people gathered on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, their hearts beating as one in pursuit of justice and equality. They were there for the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, a defining moment in the civil rights movement. In that crowd stood a man who would forever etch his name in history, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His voice resonated through the air, powerful and unwavering, as he proclaimed his dream of a better future. "I have a dream," he said, "that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Now, what made this moment so extraordinary was not just the eloquence of his words, but the collective awareness that brought those people together. They understood the profound injustices that permeated their society. But awareness alone would not have sufficed. It was the action that followed that made the difference. Thousands of individuals, driven by their convictions, marched, protested, and stood together, risking their safety for the sake of their dreams. In the weeks and months that followed that remarkable day, the momentum did not dissipate. It grew. The voices that had once been silenced began to rise, and through peaceful protests, legislation began to change. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were monumental triumphs, but they were born from the seeds of awareness and action planted on that hot summer day. Now let's bring this back to our current context. Dr. King's legacy shows us that awareness, when coupled with courageous action, can spark transformative change. We often feel overwhelmed by the challenges we face today, whether they be political, social, or personal. It's easy to feel small in a world that seems so vast and complex, but remember, every great movement begins with a single step. Think about your own life. What areas need your attention? Where can your voice make a difference? You may be asking yourself, what can I do? I'm just one person. But consider this. Every impactful movement began with individuals who chose to step forward. You don't need to be a public figure or a celebrity to inspire change. Each of us has an intrinsic power to influence our surroundings, to uplift those around us, and to create ripples of positivity. Let's reflect on a personal anecdote. A few years ago, I found myself in a community facing a crisis. There was a prevalent issue of youth disengagement, with many young people feeling lost and disconnected. Instead of resigning to despair, I chose to act. I organized a series of workshops that focused on leadership and personal development, inviting local mentors and professionals to share their journeys. The impact was profound. Youth who once felt invisible began to find their voices. They started initiating projects, volunteering, and forming connections that changed the landscape of our community. This experience reaffirmed for me that action is not just about grand gestures, it's about the small, consistent efforts that accumulate over time. Each workshop, each conversation, and each connection reinforce the idea that change is possible. So what about you? What small action can you take today? It could be as simple as reaching out to a friend who might need support, volunteering at a local organization, or even starting a conversation about an issue that matters to you. Every action counts, and together they can lead to monumental shifts. Now let's return to the theme of unity. In our increasingly polarized world, the call for unity is more crucial than ever. We find ourselves in echo chambers, surrounded by voices that reinforce our beliefs while dismissing others. This division can be paralyzing. It creates a sense of us versus them, which ultimately stifles progress and understanding. Imagine a tapestry woven together, each thread representing a different perspective. Alone, each thread is fragile, but together they create a strong and beautiful fabric. This imagery reminds us that our diversity is not a weakness. It is our greatest strength. When we embrace our differences, we cultivate an environment rich in creativity, innovation, and empathy. Take a moment to think about your own experiences with people who hold different views. Have there been times when you listened and found common ground? Maybe it was a discussion with a colleague who sees the world through a different lens. Perhaps it was a family member whose beliefs challenge your own. In those moments, rather than retreating into defensiveness, we have the opportunity to engage, to listen, and to learn. Let's consider the story of a community that faced a divisive issue: immigration. Instead of allowing fear and misconceptions to dictate their actions, a group of citizens chose to come together. They hosted town hall meetings where immigrants could share their stories of struggle, resilience, and hope. What emerged from these gatherings was not just understanding, but a renewed sense of community. People who once viewed immigration with suspicion began to see the humanity behind the statistics. They realized that behind every number is a person with dreams and aspirations just like theirs. This is the essence of unity, recognizing our shared humanity and building bridges instead of walls. It requires vulnerability and courage, but the rewards are immeasurable. As we move forward, I urge you to seek out opportunities for dialogue and connection. Engage with those who challenge your beliefs. You may find that through conversation, you can cultivate empathy and understanding. Now let's reflect on the importance of hope. Hope is the fuel that drives us forward in the face of adversity. When we speak of warnings, it's easy to feel a sense of dread about the future. Yet hope is what allows us to envision a better tomorrow. It is the light that guides us through the darkest of times. In the face of uncertainty, remember the words of Nelson Mandela: "It always seems impossible until it's done." Hope is the belief that change is possible, even when the odds seem insurmountable. It empowers us to take action, to stand up for what we believe in, and to envision a future where our dreams can become reality. Consider the countless individuals who have fought for justice and equality throughout history. They faced immense challenges and setbacks, yet they persevered because they held on to hope. Hope ignited their passion and propelled them into action. Those movements were not without struggle, but they were fueled by an unyielding belief that a better world was within reach. As you reflect on your own life, think about the dreams you hold close to your heart. What steps can you take to nurture that hope? How can you transform it into action? It might require stepping outside your comfort zone, but I assure you the rewards will far outweigh the risks. In closing, I invite you to take a moment to envision the future you desire. Picture it vividly. What does it look like? Who is there with you? What steps can you take today to bring that vision closer to reality? Awareness, action, and unity are not just concepts. They are powerful tools that can guide us in navigating the complexities of our lives and our world. The warnings we encounter are not meant to instill fear, but to inspire us to rise up, to make conscious choices, and to connect with one another. As we embark on this journey together, let us remember that change begins with us. Each conversation, each action, and each moment of unity contributes to the tapestry of our shared existence. You have the power to create ripples of change in your own life and in the lives of those around you. So I challenge you once more. Embrace awareness, take action, and seek unity. Be the change you want to see in the world. The time to act is now, and the potential for transformation is within your grasp. Together, let's chart a course toward a brighter future, one grounded in hope, connection, and unwavering belief in the power of our collective voice. Thank you. As we journey further into this discourse, let me take a moment to reflect on some powerful narratives from our past that illuminate the principles of awareness, action, and unity. These stories are not just relics of history. They are lessons that resonate with our current challenges and aspirations. Think about the women's suffrage movement in the early 20th century. Women across the United States, driven by a profound awareness of their disenfranchisement, rose to demand their right to vote. They faced overwhelming opposition, yet they persisted. Each march, each protest, each letter and petition was an act of courage. They understood that awareness alone wouldn't change the status quo. It required action. They organized, rallied, and spoke out, often facing ridicule and violence. But they did not falter. Their unity was their strength, as women from diverse backgrounds and experiences stood shoulder to shoulder, fighting for a common cause. The culmination of their efforts was the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920, granting women the right to vote. This monumental achievement was not just a victory for women, it was a victory for democracy itself. It serves as a powerful reminder that when awareness transforms into action, and when individuals unite for a common purpose, remarkable change can occur. Now let's pivot to the present. The challenges we face today may seem daunting. Climate change, social injustice, economic inequality. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to believe that the problems are too big for any one person to tackle. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of despair that we must remember the stories of those who came before us. They remind us that change is often born from struggle, and that every small action contributes to a larger movement. Consider the youth climate movement led by individuals like Greta Thunberg. With an awareness of the climate crisis that many adults had ignored, she stood alone outside the Swedish parliament, holding a sign that read, "Skolstrike för klimatet," or "School Strike for Climate." This solitary act of awareness ignited a global movement. Young people around the world began to rally, organizing strikes, marches, and campaigns aimed at demanding action from their governments. They understood that their future was at stake, and they took action. What's most inspiring about this movement is its inclusivity. Young people from various backgrounds, cultures, and beliefs came together to address a common issue. They showed us that unity is possible, even in the face of division and doubt. Their voices became a chorus, demanding change, reminding us that hope is contagious and that action can ripple outwards in ways we may never fully comprehend. Let's delve deeper into the individual stories within this larger narrative. Each young activist has their own unique journey. Some lost family members to climate-related disasters, while others were inspired by the natural beauty of their surroundings that they wish to protect. These personal stories are powerful. They remind us that every cause is rooted in individual experiences. Reflect for a moment on your own story. What experiences have shaped your awareness? What moments ignited your passion? Perhaps it was witnessing an injustice, feeling the weight of societal pressures, or even a moment of personal triumph. Your story matters. It is a thread in the larger tapestry of our collective experience. Now consider how you can harness the power of your story to inspire others. Sharing your experiences can create connections that lead to understanding and empathy. When we open up about our struggles and victories, we invite others to join us in our journey. It is through storytelling that we can bridge divides and foster a sense of community. In this digital age, we have unprecedented opportunities to share our narratives. Social media platforms allow us to amplify our voices, but they also present challenges. The echo chambers we find ourselves in can sometimes drown out diverse perspectives. It's vital to remember that while social media can be a tool for unity, it can also perpetuate division if we're not careful. So, how do we navigate this landscape? First, we must commit to being mindful consumers of information. Seek out diverse voices and stories that challenge your own beliefs. Engage with people who have different backgrounds and experiences. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everyone, but it does mean you should be open to understanding their perspectives. Next, harness the power of your platform, whatever that may be. Whether you have a large following or a small circle of friends, your voice matters. Use it to advocate for causes you believe in, share stories that resonate with you, and encourage dialogue. When we share our passions, we invite others to join us in our pursuits. As we move forward, let's also consider the importance of mentorship and support. In every movement for change, there are individuals who step up to guide and uplift others. Think about the mentors in your life. Who has inspired you? Who has pushed you to pursue your dreams? Mentorship is a profound way to create unity and foster growth. It's about sharing knowledge, experiences, and encouragement. As you look around, consider who you can mentor or support. Maybe it's a colleague who needs guidance, a student seeking direction, or a friend facing challenges. By lifting others, we strengthen our communities and create a culture of support. Now let's return to the concept of hope. Hope is not passive. It requires action and intention. It is the fuel that drives us to persist in our efforts, even when the road seems long and arduous. Hope allows us to envision a future where our dreams are possible, but it also reminds us that we have a role to play in making those dreams a reality. In moments of doubt, I encourage you to seek inspiration from those who have faced adversity and triumphed. Take, for instance, Malala Yousafzai. After surviving an assassination attempt for advocating girls' education in Pakistan, she did not retreat into fear. Instead, she emerged stronger, becoming a global symbol for the right to education. Her story is a testament to the power of hope and resilience. Malala once said, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." Your voice matters. Your actions matter. You have the ability to create change in your life and in the lives of others. As we reflect on these stories and the lessons they impart, let's also consider the role of gratitude in our journey. Gratitude grounds us, reminding us of the blessings we have and the connections we've forged. When we practice gratitude, we cultivate a mindset that opens us to possibilities and fosters resilience. Take a moment to think about what you're grateful for. Who has supported you along your path? What experiences have shaped your journey? Expressing gratitude not only strengthens our relationships, but also encourages us to pay it forward. In the spirit of gratitude, I urge you to reach out to those who have inspired you. Send a message, write a note, or have a conversation. Let them know how their actions have impacted your life. This simple act of acknowledgement can create ripples of positivity and motivate others to continue their efforts. As we weave together the threads of awareness, action, unity, hope, and gratitude, we create a narrative that is both powerful and transformative. This narrative is not just about individual stories, it's about the collective journey we share. Now let's take a moment to envision what our future could look like if we all committed to these principles. Imagine a world where awareness leads to informed action, where individuals unite across differences to address societal issues, where hope fuels our ambitions and gratitude strengthens our bonds.